Hello guys, thanks for being here. The first thing I want to tell you about this Unit 2 Assignment 1 is it is in Schoology. The Unit 2 assignments in Connexus are about geometry, and geometry is not part of our Foundations of Algebra class, so you can ignore all of Unit 2 in Connexus. All of the assignments have been dropped, and you are going to Schoology for all of your Unit 2 assignments. I'm just going to go over the type questions that you're going to see in Schoology, and hopefully this will help you complete it. So the first one, it says to solve and check. So every single time I solve, I draw a line down the equal sign and I box off my letter. And then I look at the side that has the letter and I ask myself, what do I need to get rid of in order to isolate the variable? And here I need to get rid of 3. So I'm going to do the opposite, which is to subtract 3 from each side. 3 minus 3 is 0, so that goes away. I'm going to bring my 3x straight down, and 21 minus 3 is 18. All right, I'm still trying to get that letter by itself, and now I have 3 times x. Since I want to get rid of the 3, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I'm going to divide each side by 3. 3 divided by 3 cancels, or it gives me 1, so I'm just left with 1x. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I have solved it, and now I'm going to check it. To check something, remember wherever you see the letter, you put a parentheses. So 3 parentheses plus 3. And I'm going to type it in my calculator and see if that equals 21. So I'm going to take what I got for x, and instead of writing x, I'm going to put the 6 in the parentheses. Excuse me. And then I'm going to type in my calculator 3 times 6 plus 3 and see if that equals 21. And I'm not actually showing you the calculator right now, but I will in the next one. It does equal 21, so I have checked it. It is correct. Let's look at this next problem. We want to solve and check. I'm going to write it bigger. My old eyes are having a hard time seeing that. Okay, so just like every single problem, we're going to draw a line down an equal sign and we're going to box off our letter. Now, it doesn't matter if you box just the top or the whole thing. Usually, to begin with, I box the whole thing because I know that when I look, I've got to get rid of the number that is not attached to x first or to y first. In this case, the 2 is attached to the y, so I have to get rid of the minus 4 first. And the opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring my y divided by 2 straight down. And 3 plus 4 is 7. Now I am still trying to get that y by itself. And right now I need to get rid of this divided by 2. The opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2. So I'm going to multiply each side by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that cancels, leaving me with just 1y. And 7 times 2 is 14. So I have solved it. Now if I want to check it, I'm going to go back to the original equation. And where I see the letter, I'm going to substitute in whatever I think it is. So in this case, I think y equals 14. So instead of doing y, I'm going to put a 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 7 minus 4 equals 3, which is what it was supposed to equal. So I have checked it. It is correct. If you ever substitute it back in and you get something different, then you know you've made a mistake and that you need to go back and fix it. All right, here we go again. We're going to solve and check again. First thing I always do is draw my line down the equal sign and box off my letter. Now again, it doesn't matter if you box just the top or the whole thing. Then I'm going to look on the side that has the letter and ask myself, what do I need to get rid of? We are not getting rid of 12 because 12 isn't even on the side of x. And that's a common mistake I see is people try to subtract 12 from each side. But that is not getting you any closer to getting the x by itself. So in this case, I need to get rid of the plus 7. And the opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. Remember, our ultimate goal is to have the x by itself. So we always try to get rid of numbers that are on the same side as x. All right, and then 12 minus 7 is 5. I'm still trying to get this x by itself. Right now I have divided by 4 that I need to get rid of, and the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Those would cancel, and I would get 4 times 5 is 20. Let's go on. So it says to solve the equation, what is the first step? So we have 10 minus h equals 19. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw my line and box off my letter. And just like every other time, I'm going to look just at the side that has the letter, and I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to get rid of? And in this case, I need to get rid of a 10. Since it's a positive 10, I am going to subtract 10 from each side. Now it doesn't say, oh, it does say to solve the equation, so I'm going to keep solving. I'm going to bring down my minus h, and 19 minus 10 is 9. But right here it says, what is the first step? The first step was to subtract 10 from each side. Sorry, I'm kind of abbreviating it. This may also be written as the subtraction property of equality. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to look, but one of those two. Hopefully you'll be able to know kind of what your answer should be. Now this is weird here because I have a negative h. If we don't see a number, there's always a 1 there. So I need to get rid of it says negative 1 times h, and I need to get rid of that negative 1. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide, which means I'm going to divide each side by negative 1. H will be by itself, and 9 divided by negative 1 is a negative 9. So here we go. We need to solve this one. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line down the equal sign and box off my letter. Now in this case, it's a little bit different because I have parentheses. And we always want to deal with our parentheses first. There's actually a couple ways you can solve this, but I like to distribute. Some people like to divide each side by 3. You can do that. My favorite way is to distribute. When I see those parentheses, I think of it like a mailman, and I say 3 has to distribute to each person in the neighborhood or each person in the parentheses. And when I distribute, I multiply. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 1 is 3. And then I'm just going to bring down the minus 15. From here, I end up solving it like we've been solving the other ones. Box off my letter, and I ask myself, what is on the same side as the letter that I need to get rid of? And I need to get rid of a plus 3, so I'm going to minus 3 from each side. So 3x equals negative 18. Now I have the 3 times x, and I need to get rid of that 3, so I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying, which is to divide. I'm going to divide each side by 3, and I get negative 6. Excuse me, sorry, I keep coughing. Okay, let's look at the last one for this. Justify each step used to solve the following equation. So here's what they started with. 22 equals 7x plus 4 minus 4x. And then on the next step, they got 22 equals 3x plus 4. So let's kind of look and ask ourselves what changed. The 22 didn't change. The plus 4 didn't change. So then we can see what did change. They had 7x minus 4, and they ended up with 3x. So what they did is they combined like terms. They actually did 7x minus 4x to get 3x. So on this first one, they combined like terms. Okay, let me get rid of some of this highlighting so we can see what happened next. So if we look at the next step here, we can see that they subtracted 4 from each side to get rid of that 4. Well, that is the subtraction property of equality. So then they got to here, and then we see that they're dividing by 3 on each side. That would be the division property of equality. And all of these properties of equality just mean whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if they're adding to both sides, that's the addition property of equality. If they're multiplying on both sides, that's the multiplication property of equality. It just means whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay, I hope this helps. Don't forget that your Unit 2 Assignment 1 is in Schoology. Make sure you do it there. Bye.